There's not much better than a delicious homemade gravy to top your favorite dish. But how about a gravy recipe with a little bit of a twist? Well, stay tuned. This brown gravy recipe definitely kicks it up a notch. Welcome to the Sauce and Gravy channel. This is Johnny Mac, and we're going to dive into a homemade gravy, a red wine brown gravy recipe. Buckle up, let's go. All right, let's start off this gravy recipe. We're going to work with the thickening agent first, the Beurre Manié. Grab 3 tablespoons of softened butter, roughly 30 grams, and 3 tablespoons of flour and place it into a bowl. Take the back of the spoon, smash the flour into the butter. What you want to do is incorporate all of that flour into the butter so you see no white of flour anymore. You're looking for a creamy paste. It's a wise idea to make this ahead of time so that it's ready to go once it's time to thicken up the gravy. Next bit of prep work for this homemade gravy, 2 shallots, 60 grams, finely minced. It's time to crank up that burner to medium high heat for this brown gravy recipe. Grab 2 tablespoons of butter, or roughly 20 grams, throw it on into the saute pan. Once the butter is melted, it's time to grab those shallots and place them into the saute pan. For this homemade brown gravy step, we're looking to soften up these shallots. You could also brown the shallots if you like. That would add a little bit of a different flavor dimension, bringing out some of those nice sugars from the shallots. But for this recipe, this homemade gravy recipe, we're just going to soften them up. If you know how to make a nice gravy recipe, but you're wanting to know how to make a homemade gravy with a little bit of a different twist, well, this is the perfect recipe. So here we go to add a little bit of a different flavor dimension to a normal gravy. We're adding red wine. 1 cup, 250 milliliters of Merlot. The burner's still on medium to medium high heat. Bring this to a nice simmer. Reduce this down for about 10 minutes. You'll know whenever you're done, once the mixture starts to have large bubbles, and whenever you take that flat bottom spatula and scrape the bottom of the pan, it leaves a trail and you can see the bottom of the pan. At this point, for this brown gravy from scratch recipe, it's time to grab some beef stock. 1.5 cups or 375 milliliters, pour it on in. To add a little bit more flavor to this gravy recipe, throw in 6 parsley stems and a handful of fresh thyme. If you don't have fresh thyme, you can use the powdered thyme or ground thyme, roughly about 1/4 of a teaspoon. Simmer the homemade gravy for around 10 minutes. And to have a nice clean sauce, it's a good idea to take a spoon or a ladle and to skim off all of the impurities or the scum on the top of the sauce so that you have a nice clean sauce. So it's been about 10 minutes, and this red wine brown gravy, it's reduced down, it's incorporated all of the flavors. Now it's time to clean up this gravy a little bit. Grab a fine sieve or anything that you can use in order to filter out all the large chunks, as well as a clean saucepan. Pour all the gravy in and filter out all of those big chunks of the shallots as well as the herbs. And just tap that sieve or the filter so that all of the gravy can come through. Now it's time to thicken up that gravy. So grab that Beurre Manié that we made at the very beginning of the recipe. Dip the tip of the whisk into that Beurre Manié so that you get a little bit of a dollop of it. Place it into that sauce. Whisk it around. We're still over medium to medium high heat. You do want this to come to a boil to activate this so that it becomes nice and thick. You might have to do it a couple times, but do it as many times as you need to in order to get the desired thickness for your gravy. So I just used 2 dollops of the Beurre Manié, whisked it around a little bit, let it come to a quick boil, and that's it, it's done. Check it out, a nice, thick, rich, red wine brown gravy. Thanks for watching the Sauce and Gravy channel. Do leave your comments below. I'd love to hear what you have to say. And don't forget to hit that like button, smash that subscribe button, and to remember as always to live, love, and make gravy.